cards and began putting them back in the box. Nick's mother folded her hands on the table. "No, I guess not." "I was actually thinking about lying down." Nick stretched his arms above his head, letting go with an exaggerated yawn, and I had to stifle a laugh. "It's only 1:30, Miranda said. "We just had dinner." Liz stood up. "A perfect time for a little rest. I'm sure church wore Nick out this morning. But Stella's here. We can leave Nick in her hands." As if he wouldn't be okay on his own, but I wasn't going to complain. Nick's family had been hovering over him from the first day of his illness, and I wasn't the only one ready to scream. Nick cleared his throat, his face a mask of patience. "We'll be fine." "If you're sure." His mother gazed at him with that adoring, worried, disbelieving look only mothers can give. Miranda set her glass on the counter with a snap. "Fine. Like Stella's been here every day taking care of him since he got sick. Like she knows anything about it." "Miranda!" Nick's mother fluttered a hand against her chest. "Ignore her, Mom," Liz said. "She's just being herself," Nick said. "She's just being herself." Miranda squinted at him, obviously unsure how to take the comment, but Nick smiled at her and held out his arms. She hesitated, then stepped into them for a hug, resting her cheek on his head for a brief moment before turning away. Liz scooped up her keys from the counter. "Nick, you had some files to give me?" "Right, let me get them." He got up and went into the next room, where he kept his computer and most of the paperwork for Hathaway Construction and Development. Liz followed him. Nick's mother rose from the table, smoothing her blouse, and gathered up her purse. "How long are you staying this visit, Stella?" "Till tomorrow. I'll head home in the afternoon." "Why don't you come to my house for lunch? I'll make something for the three of us." She paused, then reached over to pat my arm. "Thank you for helping out with our Nicky." "Nicky?" "I'm glad to be here, you know that." "Yeah," Miranda said. "Here for a few days, then back to your cows." I took a deep breath through my nose and clamped my teeth together. "It is how I make my living." Miranda rolled her eyes. "Whatever." Yup, she'd definitely returned to life as a teenager, an annoying one. "Besides," Miranda continued, "if you were smart, you'd realize that as long as you're with Nick, you don't need to make a living." She looked at me. "Oh, so maybe you'd better keep your job after all." Nick's mother inhaled sharply, and Liz came back into the room, interrupting whatever response I could have managed. She held a stack of folders under her arm. "Ready, Mom? I'll drop you off at home. I promised Robbie I'd cook him dinner tonight, and I need to get working on it." "Ooh, supper?" Nick leaned against the door to his office, his grin wicked. "So, sis, when are you going to take the plunge and start cooking for him every night?" Liz laughed and swatted him gently on the shoulder. "Never." When Nick raised his eyebrows, she laughed again. "He'll do at least half of the cooking." Nick smiled. "Well, it's good to hear you've been discussing it, at least. Like you should talk." Liz turned her teasing eyes to me, but I couldn't help feeling Miranda's smirk even more. I lifted my hands in self-defense. "Don't look at me, I'm a terrible cook." Liz guffawed and came over to give me a hug. "Come down again soon. We're always glad to see you." "Yeah, me too." Nick's mom gave me a peck on the cheek, and Miranda skirted the far side of the room, glaring at me before following her mother and sister out the front door into the rain. Nick came up behind me and put his arms around my waist as we watched Liz back her car out of the driveway, their mother in the passenger seat. Miranda left next, her Lexus spinning its wheels on the wet pavement. I leaned my head back against Nick's chin, my shoulders relaxing as Nick's little sister drove away. Phew, I wasn't sure what was going to come out of Miranda's mouth next. I felt Nick shrug. She's having a hard time with it all, with me being sick, you having a place in my life. I turned around in his arms and placed my hands on his shoulders. Doesn't it drive you nuts? She's freaked out, and she's never handled change.